Okay, it's quite unusual for me to be around at this time of day, and it's quite unusual for you to see my bench at this angle. But what we have here is a Ferranti A1016 broadcast radio, 3-wave band, long, medium and VHF, and I picked this one up very cheaply from a source, and I thought I'd give a go at restoring it and making it work. Now, I've had a quick look at the back, and electrically it doesn't look pretty, but it does look safe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up on the Variac and see what we actually get from it, and see what it sounds like. So at the moment the Variac is off. If I choose a range, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly bring up the voltage. Okay, so now currently we're at around about 70 volts, and nothing is heard. But I just want to let the capacitors form a little bit, make sure there's going to be no almighty bang. So I'm going to leave it at that a little bit without shocking it too high. Down the side here is my multimeter, and yes, it doesn't look too healthy with just the probe stuck in the output of the thing, but that actually leaves as little exposed as possible for me to touch. So okay, let's take it up a little bit further. So there's 130, and at this point still not getting any crackles or hums or buzzes, or there's probably not enough voltage to warm anything up at this point. But certainly the capacitors will get something, and in fact things are warming up, because I am getting a green glow on the Magic Eye tube. I don't quite know if that's visible. Yes, it is visible on the video, even with the lights on the side of the bench. I've had to turn the lights at the top of the bench down because they're a little bit too bright and they put too much of a glare on the top of the lens. So we've got the Magic Eye tube running, so let's bring the voltage up, and the Magic Eye tube is dropping back a touch. Now we're at 175 volts. I can't see any smoke, which is always a good sign. Okay, now we're up at 225 volts, and the panel lights have come on. So for a radio that was built sometime between about 1950 and 1960, this isn't doing too bad. What I am going to do now, I'm going to let it sit at that, and as you can hear, we're just starting to get some noise out of the speaker. So I'm going to bring it up. There we go. Full UK voltage, 240 volts. I'm not going to go with the what currently they say we should be getting, because obviously this was designed to run when the UK was a 240 to 250 volt system. So there we go, 241 the meter's reading. It's flicking around a bit, and we're getting some life out of the set. If I just move the microphone slightly towards the set, you should hear it a bit better. Now the volume control seems to work quite well, although there's a bit of hum, and the hum I would attribute to old capacitors. Let's see how the tuning works. We've got one station pretty much at the upper end of its band, and depending on what the station is, rather than get a violation, we've got a second station off the end of its tuning. So I think somewhere there is an alignment issue.
That one again. The beat, the clown and the cures are close to me. However, you're listening to Absolute Radio, whether you're on the long drive up the motorway this evening, having a
right, so that station ident
too much homework. Someone has just tweeted me that
actually says that it should be on VHF, not medium wave. So that would indicate a problem between these switches. And again, I've dropped the volume there because I don't want to get a violation, copyright violation. The Magic Eye didn't tune in there, so again, something to do with the switching is not letting it play. Let's switch to VHF and see if we actually get any stations. Oh, we've now got a stuck needle. There's one there. Now the Magic Eye did move in there slightly. Okay, and just for giggles, so we've got a sticky button on this assembly. pretty much nothing on the long wave band. So to me that looks like a switching issue. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the main chassis out and have a look at the condition of it and go from there. So I'll see you back when that part of the video is done. See you soon. Right, okay, here we are at the back of the set, and I'll just get ready to take off the back panel so that we can have a good look inside. So it's quite straightforward. You have some quite rusty screws. And as you can see, it has all the details on the back. It has you know, the type number, the A1016, AC mains 200, 250 volts, 50 cycles, Ferranti radio and television, 41 to 47 Old Street, London, EC1. When Britain used to have a manufacturing industry, and we made things, and the serial number is in the gap there in the chassis. And obviously it has the warnings for do not connect receiver unless back cover is in position, which is what we're going to completely do now. You also have a terminal here for external audio input pickup, an external speaker and an AM aerial. It does have a built-in VHF aerial, so that's actually here where you can turn the ferrite rod. Sorry, that is the built-in AM aerial, the ferrite rod. You also have, and it's very hard to see, so I've removed that, and they've even put a slot in the hardboard to take that out. Let's just drop that on the floor. Remove the screws off the top. There is, just up here and just here, the FM aerial connected to this piece of ribbon cable which plugs in here, and they've used the case for the FM antenna. This is the medium wave antenna and the long wave antenna, and as you see, the inside of the set, if I bring it round, it's pretty dusty and crusty. If I go through the bits, obviously I'll try not to put my fingers on anything. Here you have your mains transformer. Here is the rectifier valve. Quite happily, the paperwork is available on the internet, so it can be sort of looked at and got. What else to say about the set at this point? Well, this down at the back here is the switching section that is obviously not accurately switching between AM and FM. We have here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit and see if I can get you close. You can see the state of some of these wax capacitors. They are a little bit suspect. Some of the electrolytics look to have leaked, and certainly the main one on the transformer input does not look too healthy at all. So you know, that would explain some of the hum and also some of the alignment issues. I also wouldn't put it past it to have some of these resistors now to have gone out of tolerance. The only things that probably won't have changed are any of the tuning coils in here, because they are coils of wire, and unless somebody's physically been in and moved them, then it's unlikely that those will have changed. What else to say? At the very back there you have an EM It's either an 80 or an 81 Magic Eye tube right at the back, a genuine Mullard again. There's an old capacitor, looks like a Hunt's or something that's similar, which will probably have to get changed straight out. And you have a pair of speakers. Now this one actually says Goodman's Industries, Wembley, England, patent applied for. So that's when Goodman's were a brand name of quality components, not the cheap and cheerful stuff that they seem to put out in their brand name today. But yeah, so that's the back of the set. Now again, if we go up with the voltage, let's switch on a range, reach around the front. I've now only got 2 of the terminal lights on because I've not got enough voltage yet. And there we go. Your lights are, the 2 lights are on now, whereas before we had 3, so it looks like there's an intermittent connection on that. And the heaters on all the valves are lighting up nicely. The heater on the Magic Eye tube is lit up. So generally I think it just mainly needs, there's even a valve list on the back here, which I didn't know about. So yeah, next job, pull the chassis and have a look and see if we can clean up all of this mess, and I'll obviously go through the stages and see what else we have to do to it. Back later. Thanks very much for watching for now, and we'll speak to you soon. Okay, so here we are again. We now have the chassis on the bench, and as you see, it requires a little bit of love and attention. There's a little bit of surface rust on some of the components. There's a lot of dust on the valves. Even the lamps are a bit mucky. This here that's sticking up like this wobbly bit at the moment, is actually the AM aerial assembly, the internal one. And as you see, it's sticks up a bit. I probably will have to take that off while I'm servicing the unit. So that's the top side that you normally see. Now if I carefully turn this over so that I don't break anything, this obviously there are bits hanging down. I'm obviously aware of the state of things. This is the, no, just off the screen there, the Magic Eye tube is hanging down. Let's have a closer look at the state of the capacitors and the switching. That one is obviously what I would say would be beyond hope. These have gone sticky. These some of these, I'm actually in the wrong surface section, aren't I? Let's see if I can go this way without damaging the FM aerial. There we go. Let's see if I can get you focused in. So yeah, so these capacitors are, you can feel the wax on there. They're not that good. This electrolytic here has got a bulge in it. If I'm changing this one and this one, I might as well change this one and the one that's tucked at the side of the power control. There's also a little white Hunt's capacitor there. In fact, all of these Hunt's capacitors are going to be suspect. At this age, they are, they're just not worth keeping in. So That's the major job. This great big black Hunt's capacitor here will have to go. In fact, it's not quite split, but it does look a bit crap. And obviously we have to sort out this switching assembly, which is what selects all of the things. Now that, I think, looks just like corrosion on the leaves. None of the leaves actually look broken. Yeah, so it will just be a case of cleaning it off and making sure that everything works. So you shouldn't be able to get too... In fact, there seems to be a section missing without taking that. Oh, that is the medium wave section. So the whole medium wave wafer seems to have gone. So that would explain why medium wave is not there. I'll have to figure out something with that then. Okay, so there we are for now. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.